Well, sports fans, it's another week. Upsets and matchups galore. For this Cougs fan, all I got to say is forks down because we got the dub, baby. We got all the highlights for y'all tonight, college and pros. Y'all stay tuned. We're here live. Let's roll.
And that's the bottom line. You want a war? You're gonna get one.
The queen will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Hard work pays off. Dreams come true. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do.
How can you not help but just get pumped up by that? Bad times don't last, but bad guys do. Razor Ramon, maybe. How you doing, boys?
Doing pretty good.
That is a great line.
It is. Getting some caffeine injection there, Brett?
Oh, yeah, I just shot some a minute ago before we went on. Snorted a line of B12.
Well, you know, I used to drink Mountain Dew, I don't know, by the caseloads, and I just don't do it anymore. It's bad for you. It's bad for you, Brett. I got to go to zero. I'm getting too old, right, Chad?
Yeah, yeah, you are getting too old.
Zero sugar. Get rid of all of it.
Charles Anthony motto. What is it?
I mean, when you're
drink the good.
When you're born in the 60, 59? What year were you born, Nick?
Yeah, don't make me feel
you're a boomer.
35.
Solid boomer.
Hey, listen, whatever an old guy like you needs to do to make yourself feel better, I'm good with it, man. It's fine. Oh, listen, I grow my hair out. The problem is my hair grows in a fro.
Well, we got to see that. That's a
Oh,
must.
God.
Hey, we would have our own Bob Ross.
It would be. I kid you not. When I was a kid,
Pretty little creed.
I always say my mom should have turned her into DHS, but wouldn't get a haircut for a while. And I'm telling you, man, it would get out to here, and I'm just
we got to see it. You got to grow that shit out.
Not a chance, man.
That's straight fire, man.
It may look straight to you, but when this stuff grows out, it ain't straight. Not even kinda.
Yeah, there's not too much about you that is straight, so it kind of goes.
Chad, what are you trying to say?
I think we all know.
You saying he's lining the loafers?
Hunting trips. Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah. See, the only person I really go hunting with is my brother. So what are you getting at?
Well, okay. That's how you guys do over there, buddy.
Lead on to more of a Brett joke.
Taylor or whatever.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of more of a Brett joke, but okay. I mean, We are in God's country here where stuff like that doesn't happen.
We like the pig boy.
Good evening, everybody. Well, boys, we got a lot to go through here. But real quick, as you can see going across the bottom, how we're doing on our Parix chat. Brett, we got to decide what we're going to do with you. Since you're only about 80 games behind.
Oh, well, guess what? I'm already below 500. That didn't take long.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it. I had this made because,
Oh, my God.
you know, I just happen to be sitting at the top, and you can see the likeness, you know, the gray beard there. I mean, I don't know. We'll see if it
Just call
holds.
him
but-
Humpty Dumpty, folks.
This guy looks a lot younger, though.
Definitely more regal. Let's kick right off. Let's just get into the power rankings. SEC power rankings back where they belong. With Brett, since I did, they would not load for me, so you're going to have to look to your left or right. I'll see if I can get the rest of them loaded. Brett, these are your power rankings now, so you take them away, and people can yell at you for them being wrong.
Yeah, you can never pick these right. You can never satisfy everybody, can you?
No.
Look, Texas A&M is the real deal. I think we've seen that on both lines of scrimmage and physicality. They look so much bigger, stronger, and faster than LSU and Baton Rouge, and that's not something you would typically say. You've got to give that head coach credit. This is only his second year, and look at the struggles that they went through year in, year out with Jimbo Fisher, and then overnight they hire this guy from Duke, and now we're talking playoffs. We're talking SEC championship. Bama at number 2. They're very lucky to be there. I would have dropped them to number 17 if they had lost South Carolina, which they almost did. Our coaching staff is about as reliable as, well, I'm probably not going to go there since this is a family show. But, yeah, we've got some kinks to work out. But, again, still undefeated in the SEC and got a bye this weekend. Georgia is Georgia. They're not going anywhere. I think this is the first time since Kirby's been in Athens that the offense is better than their defense, which I'm sure that's just driving Kirby crazy considering he's supposed to be a defensive mastermind at LSU, at Miami, at Alabama, and now at Georgia. Ole Miss and Tennessee, it's really a toss-up between these two teams. Ole Miss did have a big win against Oklahoma. Tennessee just routed Kentucky. What happened to Mark Stoops in Kentucky? That's another name that you're probably going to hear on the coaching carousel coming up soon. Vandy at 6. They go to Texas this weekend. Wow. Now they're going to face the best roster money can buy. We'll see. Texas at 7. My goodness, they had to score, 17 straight points in the last few minutes of the fourth quarter to get to overtime in Starkville. Mississippi State had them dead to rights. And that was probably the biggest choke job I've seen thus far this season. Missouri's a solid 8. Man, Drinkwitz has done a great job up there, and his name is being mentioned for a lot of these coaching jobs coming up. Oklahoma still got an issue with their offense. They go to Tennessee and Knoxville this weekend. That is one of the toughest places in the country to play. Good luck because I know you've got a strong defense, but Tennessee makes you defend from sideline to sideline. We'll see. LSU at 10. I obviously rushed this list together. You could kind of flip 10, 11, and 12 any which way but loose with LSU, Florida, and Auburn. Another name to mention is Hugh Freeze. They go and lose to Kentucky this weekend. He will not make it to the Iron Bowl in November. Mississippi State at 13. These guys are playing so hard under this coach, but they're just not there yet. Man, it was crazy when Texas turned it on in the fourth quarter Saturday in Starkville. Mississippi State had no answers. South Carolina, a hell of an effort, which typically everyone gives Alabama their best shot. Even their students was getting ready to storm the field. I sure hate that for them because it just didn't work out. Arkansas, it is what it is. And Kentucky, my goodness, Mark Stoops was winning 8 and 9 and 10 games in Lexington. And now, if there was a 17 or 18 spot, Kentucky would be there. They are absolutely a dreadful ball club. And that is my SEC power rankings.
I think you could have, especially if Vandy beats Texas this weekend, I think 4 through 6 could be interchangeable. The top 3 are definitely the top 3. But I think other than that, Missouri's coach, I think is, I don't know, Brett, what do you think? I think Missouri's coach is good as gone.
I think he's just about maxed out on what he can do up there. I know they're expanding another section of the stadium. I don't know what kind of money Mizzou's got. Mizzou was relevant somewhat back in the Big 12 or whatever. It's just when you start comparing, those programs, Missouri to, and no disrespect, Texas A&M, Texas, Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Florida, Auburn. Which a lot of these spots have openings. We all appreciate and love loyalty, but it can, if I was one of those schools ADs, I would definitely send a flyer to Drinkowich and see if he'd be interested. I think he's too good and done too good a job in Mizzou to stay there because I just don't think they have the resources that they need to keep him there.
Wow, besmirching Ed's Tigers like that.
Well, he did a well of a job there, but my goodness, look at the programs that's in the SEC now. Like it, lump it, don't like the SEC, be an SEC hater, but there's a lot of, look at those names. There's a lot of money in those programs and a lot of history, a lot of tradition, a lot of national championships, Heisman trophies, and you just don't have that at Mizzou.
Well, Chad, Ed knows his beloved Missouri Tigers are on their way out.
I can't believe he's turning on him like that.
They gave Alabama every bit they wanted. They gave Vandy every bit they wanted. Unfortunately, going back to what me and Eric and you fellas have said for years now, man, you can go out and have a year like Arizona State did last year or like Vandy's having this year. They've proved it's possible. But year in, year out, you better have a piggy bank if you want to compete.
Vandy had a pretty good year last year too, but did I see that A&M is paying Jimbo like $70-some million not to coach there?
Yeah, that's something we'll probably because I mentioned it to Eric before the show. We need to, if we talk about the coaching carousel, there's some things came out today and involving the governor of Louisiana, and it was quite comical. And the reason why I bring up that is Woodward, the athletic director at LSU, was the same one that hired Kelly at LSU and the same one that hired Jimbo at Texas A&M.
Ooh.
Yeah, so oops. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely not good. All right. Well, a little technical difficulties, but I think I got the Big Ten queued up, Chad.
Oh,
So
okay.
take the Big Ten away so they can at least see our faces now instead of
I like
not.
this format better because I can actually see the graphic. So Indiana is still rolling. Who figured that? We say this every week, but who would have thought Indiana would be sitting here like this? They are playing lights out. They're killing everybody. This coach does not have any let up. He keeps the boot to the throat the whole game. Doesn't let up. Ohio State, they're Ohio State. They're going to be there till the end. Oregon, they're playing pretty well, staying right up there at the top. Iowa, there's a pretty immediate drop off right there. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Oregon and then Iowa.
Yeah, there's.
I knew you were going to have to throw shade at Iowa. I was just waiting on it.
Well,
I got them ranked 4.
I don't think. I think the separation will come when Oregon comes to Iowa in 2 weeks. I think Iowa has a bye this week. But when Oregon shows up in Iowa, I mean, maybe Iowa wins, but I don't know.
They do pull everybody down to their level. Then you got somehow. Then we got the USC Trojans, Michigan, who has played better than they opened the season, kind of like not quite to the level of your Alabama Crimson Tide, but they're playing much better than they were at the beginning. Washington is really sneaky good and dangerous. Illinois, Minnesota. Minnesota just got waxed. I didn't know Iowa could score that many points in one game.
Right?
That's like how many points they score in like 7 or 8 games.
Yeah, that's like 3 or 4.
Who would have thought? Minnesota must have just blew their wad the week before, beat Nebraska, and they were just like, couldn't.
They'd reach the top there, Chad. They'd reach the top.
Yep. And Nebraska is just hanging on by their fingernails. Northwestern and Maryland, and then everybody else is who cares?
Everybody else on that bottom is, and I think we've talked about this, they're really bad.
Yeah. Well, UCLA showed some spark.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they've showed some spark. Rutgers has played some good quarters here and there. But yeah, they're not. Otherwise, the rest of them are not too good.
Could you have ever dreamed?
No.
Ever even concede?
No.
That by the end of this year, Penn State would be sitting where they're at in your power rankings.
I knew exactly what you were going to say.
I mean,
no.
It's comical the talent that they have.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's insane. You could say what you want about other teams, but I mean, you compare the talent on Indiana's roster to the talent on Penn State's roster.
Whoops.
I mean, it's not even close.
No, it's crazy.
You live, honey. You live. Cat Daddy in full effect here in Titletown, Alabama. Just remember, Halloween is just a couple days away.
You and your
Don't
cats.
worry. I got your back, baby. I got your back.
You and your cats.
All
So that's my power rankings, boys.
Good job.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think the Big Ten. I mean, unless Iowa jumps up and grabs Oregon, I mean, it's a 3-team race.
You got to admit, though, I think we're all pulling for Iowa to pull that off. That would be awesome. Ed would be dancing a jig. We'd have to have a live feed in his house.
Do you know why you say that? You know why you say that, Brett?
Why?
Because you don't live around Hawkeye fans.
Yeah.
Well, I understand. That would be like you saying something good about Auburn, so I apologize.
So I mean, I don't know who the most obnoxious fans in the SEC are, but multiply that times 10, and you've reached the obnoxiousness of Hawkeye fans. And I can say these things because I've lived here my whole life. I've dealt with these people forever.
See, Chad, Ed
It is-
agrees.
It's gross.
Ed
He
agrees.
agrees. They are the most obnoxious. Every year, we're going to win the Big Ten. We're going to win the national title. It's not just football. It's basketball. I mean, they actually have a pretty decent girls women's basketball team, so they're pretty respectable there. And of course, the wrestling team is more than respectable. But man, everything else is just obnoxious. Just puke all over that black and color. It's just so much.
I hate to keep hammering on Hawkeye fans, but do you know how you know that football and basketball are not going so well for Hawkeye fans, Brett?
How's that?
It's when they start paying attention to wrestling.
Hey,
When
it's
a
my
Hawkeye
favorite-
fan throws wrestling at you, you know how it's going in basketball.
Yeah,
and
is
football
that
for
going
them.
good?
It's
Yeah.
not going good. So here
Hey,
they
you
come
know-
with the wrestling.
Us
Yep.
Bama fans, we went to the Final Four a couple years ago, and I'm sitting there at Coleman Coliseum on Trinitron with about 7,000 Alabama fans watching us take on Connecticut while I'm watching the UFL on my phone. It was Battle Hawks and Renegades is who was playing, but I thought, man, when did we ever think we were going to make it to a Final Four? And hey, we're selling out Coleman Coliseum now, but football always comes first and always will in this state, no matter what.
Ed, I love you, Ed. You're the exception. You're the exception, buddy. You're not obnoxious about it at all.
Hey,
It's-
Brett.
Oh, yeah, like when he blew that Vikings horn 13 weeks in a row last
Yeah.
week.
Marty says, thank God you don't live around them, right, Brett?
Who live around who? Auburn fans?
I'm sure that's what he's talking about, but
Yeah, it's no.
all right, KJ, if you're able to pull up your ACC or not, I'm having technical troubles. So,
Yeah, I've got we can hit Big 12 first. I'll do
Big 12, yeah.
So seeing as things lie now, obviously there's probably some bitter tortilla throwing fans in the panhandle of Texas who don't like where they're sitting right now. But to be at the top, you got to be near perfect, if not perfect. So got to give respect to the Cougars for that. And no, I'm not talking about my alma mater. Cincinnati's, they're kind of a dark horse in my opinion. I know they haven't necessarily had the most difficult schedule yet thus far through the season, but they've done well. They've had their fair share of upset games against Iowa State and other teams, I think, earlier on in the season. So they've done well in managing what they've been given. Texas Tech clearly is definitely still within reach. And then I think Houston's kind of bringing up the tail end of that top four grouping, if you will, out of the Big 12. Utah could theoretically make a push, but I feel like there's a lot that has to go their way if that even becomes a remote possibility. Houston's got its own level of, conditional things that have to go right, so to speak, even if we went out the rest of the year for the Cougs to make it to the championship. So that's a far-reaching kind of metaphoric pipe dream, if you will. Was surprised to see, I guess, wasn't surprised to see how well Kansas State whooped up on Kansas this past weekend. But it definitely kind of reasserted them into the middle of the field, if you will, with respect to the power rankings. Some of what I positioned guys on beyond the actual, outcomes of last weekend's game was kind of where they sit in the actual rankings, because we're kind of getting to that point now in the season where there's not a lot of variance between the actual wins and losses in conference and where guys sit in the power rankings in my eyes. I believe TCU and Kansas will go head-to-head this weekend, if I remember correctly. So that one, those could flip-flop easily within the coming week, depending on how things go. I'm saddened and surprised to see how much Colorado struggled this season, but I know there's a lot of prime haters out there that wouldn't say they're surprised. As low as UCF is, I'm definitely not discounting them. I know Houston, we go to play them in just over a week on the road in Orlando, and I know that'll be a good game. So, I mean, whether or not we get the nod on it, so to speak, from a pre-positional pick standpoint, that's definitely not a team you can take for granted. UCF does play well at home, and I think they can put up a fight against us. And we'll see how things shake out the rest of the season. I don't know if Baylor will try to rally late or not, but that's kind of where things lie now. Hopefully teams like Oklahoma State can figure out their coaching future so that they're not sitting there at the bottom and, beyond this season for long. But, you never know how things will go.
Well, Texas Tech is the wounded duck. Hammond's gone for the year. That's going to make it tough for Texas Tech.
Yeah.
You realistically, could be looking at a, 3-team race. Maybe Tech can hold on. I don't know. But I know Hammond was a big part of that. So,
sure.
Injuries, I get it. There are some people out there, and I've never bought into this, but they say, hey, everybody's got injuries and da-da-da-da. Well, yeah, and I get it. Some injuries are more important than others.
Sure.
A
But,
lot more.
for Texas Tech to lose Hammond, another example, what if Diego Pavia goes down for Vanderbilt?
Yep.
Are we just going to say, well, Vanderbilt was who we thought they were? No, it's in direct correlation. Or, you use other examples. You could use Iowa State. You could use, whoever you want up there with tons of injuries. It happens, and it's a season derailer. It's just a season. Normally, in Iowa State's case, the defense is solid. The defense has just been getting rolled up on. Why? Because we're 2 and 3 deep at the cornerback position and 1 safety position. Well, I could sit here and, complain about it and stuff like that and let 18 to 22-year-olds tick me off every week, or I could see it for what it is. And, it just is what it is.
No, that's fair. I think you make a valid point, Eric. Every team in the core sense of things has depth, but it's a testament and a question to your point of how good is your depth, because not every team is the same in that respect.
No, and nil. Brett, you and I have talked about it. Nil, transfer portal, all that stuff has 1,000% weakened the depth of a ton of teams.
Sure.
Yep.
So, we've lost 4 corners. We're down to probably like freshmen. We don't have that kind of depth. We were already weakened when the starters went out, but then you go to the next level and then the next level and you're in trouble. Well, now I don't know anything about Texas Tech's backup quarterback situation, but I got to believe it's not close to the way Hammond was playing.
What was Hammond's injury? I did not catch that. What happened?
It was a shoulder. I can look that up quick, but
Throwing shoulder, I assume.
Ed's made a prediction.
Oh yeah, I see that. Ed chimes in with that. We've been talking about this for 2 freaking weeks, man. You heard it here first. Not a chance.
I had this question pop into my head back when we hired Dana Holgerson and he brought in his son as like our 3rd string QB. And it just, the minute I saw that on our roster, I was like, all right, where's like the ethical red flag violations? I guess that doesn't exist anymore in the NCAA.
Look,
I don't know.
If you ever noticed Dana Holgerson's hairdo, there was no ethics involved with that man.
Hey. He's doing okay where he's at. Just leave him alone.
That's right, because he should have never become a head coach. Let's just
Will Hammond.
OCs. That's a great OC. Let's leave it there. Yeah.
Will Hammond tore his ACL in his right knee.
Ooh.
So.
Yep, that's the problem.
Yeah, there's no coming back.
Hey, I got to apologize to KJ real quick because I always try to poke at him when I was in the comment section about his Cougars, but I will have to admit I had no clue how good they were going to be this year. Didn't have a foggy idea. But I'm like, I'm going to poke at him. I'm going to get him stirred up. And he kept coming back at me and saying, what's your coach's name, KJ?
Willie Fritz.
He said, well, Willie Fritz ain't going to have Willie Fritz. And I thought, I'm going to look like a pretty big ass, which is nothing new. If KJ is right. And I got to give you credit. Houston looks good. They really do. They look pretty dang good. So congratulations on that.
No, I appreciate it. I think most of my fellow fans would agree. I think for the modest ones of us, they've already exceeded and met most folks' expectations, if not exceeded it, with how well they've done this season. Coming off a 4-8 year, like I think a lot of us were, hoping for that 2 to 3 game jump in overall performance, and they've definitely, I think, met that to this point. So I mean, you can't ask for a lot more. I think it's a testament both to the players we have, but also to Willie's coaching proficiency, doing a good job of establishing a culture. And I'll die on this hill that I definitely, he's got a resume that proves he's a program builder. If we can just keep him around long enough, you might be looking at something that's more sustainable long term. We'll just have to wait and see.
That's what I was fixing to say. With all this coaching going on now and the big money involved, me and Eric talked about it's being treated like the NFL. How many years, if he has 2 really good years in a row down there,
right?
what
You got a dad gum out of him. That as a Yankee, if I could get a dad gum out of somebody with an accent like that, that would make my month. I'm hoping to get a dad gum addressed to my team from him like that. Dad gum, man, they doing pretty good out there.
we really need to get Ed back healthy and on the show, because actually maybe not just because his comments are outstanding. Here's one to Chad, and here's one to me. Suck it, Chad, about Coach Beck. I mean, either we want to get him back on here or we just need to keep him in the comment line, one way or the other. Coach Beck is not coming to ISU.
What happened is Brett, we were doing like a triple threat tag match. Brett and him were on the side ropes, and one of them just tagged in. That's basically.
And then to get you involved, all Brett would say is, "I knew Houston would choke it off," and you'd be over there going, "Come on, come on."
I knew what I was doing, and I didn't have a clue if they were going to win 11 games this year, 7 games. But I knew if I lowballed him, he would get fired up.
Well, he did.
Ed's been popping too many pain pills and muscle relaxers and a glass of scotch.
All right, KJ, can you get the ACC charged up there?
Yes, sir. I'm throwing it up right now.
As I try to pop them up here, it just tells me there's an error. So you're doing a lot better job.
So I've still got Georgia Tech holding strong at the top right now, just due to not losing a game so far. You can argue that's schedule cheapness or easierness compared to what the Hurricanes have battled so far through the year. But that's kind of where we sit at the top of the leaderboard. Got Virginia trailing them. I still think the Cards are, a dangerous team. We still have several weeks left of the season, so they can always, throw a wrench in somebody's the remainder of somebody's schedule and mix things up there and make it dicey. The 2 hardest ones I think I had to pick just based off of who they've played so far, honestly, was Duke and SMU. I think you could honestly flip-flop those. They haven't faced each other, and between the teams they have played, it was hard for me to really make a 100%, definitive confidence choice there between those two. Wake Forest is surprising me in terms of just how high up they're on the leaderboard, but my cousin's an alum there, so I'm kind of excited for the Deacons. That's pretty cool for them. I know they aren't known to be a football school per se, so got Pittsburgh obviously in the top 4, still kind of fighting for contingency. Cal and Northern Carolina have fallen off a little bit, I guess, if you will, respective to the past couple weeks. And I think the biggest, some people would say the biggest surprise. I'm going to argue that I knew this all along, even despite the couple of their wins early in the season. But the Seminoles are the same faking chokesters that the Dallas Cowboys are to the National Football League. So let's just all put that in cement and etch it in stone somewhere, because it ain't going to change anytime soon.
Sorry, Marty.
Yeah. Disclaimer to all of our Cowboy fans: the views reflected by KJ do not necessarily reflect the views
I'm a biased Houston boys
of the other hosts or the bottom line itself. Thank you.
And all you can do is play a small, quiet violin with a side of cheese and wine for your Tar Heel fans. Bill Belichick has not met the standard expectation that came in with all the respected media coverage he got. So whether that be solely on his own response or we'll mention some other non-named individuals with longer hair that might have brought some of that interest as well. But that's the point. So
would she be about 50 years younger than him?
I don't know the exact quantity, but yeah, you're a couple decades at the least. Yes,
It's close. 50 years is close.
But between that and his son,
Look at this list in Clemson at 12.
Yeah.
They were what, top 2 or 3 team to start the year?
this is the
Holy
ACC Twilight Zone. Welcome. Yep.
Oh, there you go, KJ.
Who's
Marty, I'm not listening to the Dallas hater.
Marty, we get into hockey season. I'm your best friend, man. That's all I got to say. So
hey, I will say this. On the way home, me and Marty was talking about, I brought up Halloween. And he said, yeah, the fellows at work, they talk about, dressing up, us getting dressed up for Halloween on Friday. I said, hey, Marty, you can wear all your Dallas gear and dress up as a douchebag Friday.
wow, that'll turn him on.
That is not funny, Marty. Again, the views expressed by some of the hosts do not directly reflect the bottom line.
I thought it was pretty good.
so who's a bigger disappointment this year?
I'm sorry, Marty. I love you, man.
Clemson or Penn State?
I would concede and give that to Clemson in my viewpoint, only because this is the first year they've really seen a significant drop off. Like, we can at least track the Seminoles, overranking underperformance to the past couple seasons. Like, this isn't a brand new phenomenon for them. For Clemson, I think they've had the top 2-3 tier success the past couple of years still. So no one would have expected them to fall off to the entire bottom half of their respective conference, pack. That's just my thoughts. I don't know.
It's difficult to weigh the Penn State and Clemson fall off simply because I think, the expectations were the next step for both the programs.
Yeah.
And they have taken gigantic steps back. I mean, just ginormous steps back.
Well, you got to add Florida State to the coaching carousel too, because there's no way they keep him. There's no way they can't.
Yeah,
that's a proud university.
Norvell's done, but to answer your question, Chad, I would have to say Clemson, and I'll tell you why. I know in their minds Penn State was saying, look, this is the year we can take down Ohio State, or we can do this and we can do that.
Right.
The competition in the Big Ten is just so much better than the ACC at the top. They not only had to overtake Ohio State, they had to overtake Indiana. They had to overtake Oregon. I mean, they had to do so much more than Clemson had to do.
Right.
Where Clemson has just –
well, and Dabo's won 2 natties at Clemson, and you can see the last 3-4 years, it's just a steady dip in that program, and you wonder. And I know we've talked about this before, but does guys hit a wall at a certain program, and just everything they say and everything they do, it falls on deaf ears, and the players are just, we've heard this before. And sometimes they need a new place to go. I mean, it's crazy to think the kind of success that Dabo has had there in the national championships. And I'm telling you, another year or two like this, and I mean, Clemson's going to have to show him the door. You can't. Clemson's not. I mean, with the talent they've got, they're not even really that competitive.
Well, like we talked about, Brett. You're going to have to start looking at the college scene for coaches. Very similar, and we'll talk about this, but very similar to the NFL. They're not going to get 3, 4, maybe 5 years to get the program back on track anymore.
No.
Those days are over. As long as the money, dictates a lot of things and that kind of stuff, they're not giving them that kind of time. It's not going to happen. They're going to be out. You're going to see some coaches get about 1.5 years. They're going to get the first year to get their feet wet. Then, if they've got a bunch of nil money, then they bring their guys in. If they're 3 and 4 at this point the next year, Gone. We can't afford you. I mean-
you know who's setting the standard? Signetti.
Yeah.
Signetti is setting the standard. He's screwing everybody.
Hmm.
All these coaches should be all pissed at him because he is setting the standard that's going to be so hard for anybody else to duplicate. And the universities aren't going to care. They're going to be like, well, he can do it at Indiana.
Yeah.
Why can't you do that
At
here?
Indiana.
Why can't you
This is
Florida
Penn
State?
State. This is
Clemson.
Florida.
This is Penn
Yeah.
State. This is Florida. This is Florida State. And
Yep.
so if they don't get those kind of results,
Yeah, they're not gonna sit around and wait for these coaches to get it done anymore.
But
I mean,
I think what you're going to see is I think you're also going to see universities try and get the Signetti effect. So they're going to, I think, I know we had this discussion a couple of weeks ago and you guys poo-pooed it, but I think you're going to see a lot of them going down to those Division II and FCS schools trying to find another Signetti to bring them up and have them resurrect their programs and do a Signetti. That's what I think is going to happen. I think there's going to be a bunch of schools that do that, and there's going to be other schools that recycle coaches and bring in some hot, offensive coordinators and things like that. But I think there's going to be a significant portion of them that are going to try and Signetti it.
I have no doubt that there will be some, coaches brought up from the lower levels because I think that's going to happen anyway. But I think, and I think, this is kind of a good move into our next little deal here. But I think what you're going to see, because I don't think a Penn State or a Florida, or those types of teams can go to a Toledo like an Iowa State did and find a Matt Campbell. They have to make splash hires. I mean, and the thing that I've already heard they do. For fan base wise, they do. And
They
This
better.
is our Signetti. They have to sell it to their fans. This is our Signetti.
yeah, I guess that's possible. But
We've gone to Ball State. We're hiring this guy out of Ball State. He's going to come in. He's going to be Signetti.
if you want to fire up the fan base, the last thing that Penn State can do is go hire the coach, whoever he may be, from Ball State or Tarkington State or whatever it is, and sell the whole Signetti line to them, because you're going to have donors say, who? And then pretty soon that check is going to go like that out of their hands. That's the problem that they're in. That is the problem they're in.
I disagree, because we're talking all the time about how the college football is morphing into the NFL. And what is the NFL? The NFL is a copycat league. And I think the college football is going to become a copycat league. And I think they're going to see the trendy thing to do is going to go and find you somebody at Ball State or San Diego State or Wichita State or whatever, and bring them in and try and pull a Signetti. I'm tired. I'm not saying Signetti anymore tonight.
Well, I'm glad you kind of led me into my next statement on that. And you're right, but here's where I think college is going. I think college is going to the pros. I think college, they're going to go to some of these offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators. If you look at it, I looked this up. Brett, I think you and I were talking on the phone when I looked this up. Did you know that Signetti would be about the 11th or 12th highest paid coach in the NFL? So, do you think that if you're an offensive coordinator making, I don't know, a couple $1 million a year, whatever they pay them, I didn't look that up, I just looked at head coach.
Yeah.
What if you're an offensive coordinator for, I don't know, name your team, doesn't matter, or defensive coordinator, making $2 million a year, and you're a good one, your name is out there, and Penn State comes and says, listen, you need to be the next head coach at Penn State. And by the way, we're going to pay you about $13.5 million. That's an angle I think they're going to take because
I think I don't disagree with you. Where I would disagree is these coaches are going to say, okay, you're going to have a significant buyout for me because if you're only going to give me a year and a half to unfuck this situation that you have here at XY University, I want some assurances that if you're just going to fire me after a year and a half because you dug this giant hole I'm trying to fix, then I want to be compensated in such a way.
How can the buyouts be any different than what Nebraska's been paying coaches for years? What LSU, now I think LSU is going to get out of it, and we'll talk about that, but at least a significant portion of it. But I mean, how much more can the buyouts be? I mean, $54 million to Les Miles.
I think
Nebraska's still paying 5 head coaches.
I think you're gonna. I think LSU is gonna have a hard time selling their donors on paying out a bunch more money for another head coach when they're paying out all this money to all these. I mean, they're still paying Les Miles and Ed Orgeron and all these other guys a lot more money than Nebraska's paying their people. Let's remember that. So now you're going to go and expect them to pay some guy $15 million a year and have him have a 5-year contract and have his contract escalate, go up every so many years. Well, at some point, there's got to be a breaking point for these donors paying all these coaches who aren't coaching, is what I'm saying.
Well, Brett, I'll ask you. When it comes to LSU, I had never heard this before. To kind of answer Chad's question a little bit about donors and things like that, how far are they willing to go?
Man, look, here's the deal, and I'm sure different programs or different conferences. I was told before the season and I know this is a different school, you asked me LSU, but with Auburn, go look at what they recruited last year. They were top 10 in recruiting. Go look, see what they've recruited right now. They're 40th, 50th. I was told from day one, this recruiting cycle, that all the money's gone. There will not be any more money for NIL until Hugh Freeze can prove that he's the right man for the job. That's what they do at LSU. That's what they would do at Alabama. If they've got questions, they'll go as far as they need to go. There's refineries in Louisiana. There's a lot of powerful people with money from Louisiana. And they've got a lot of donors. It's not Texas money, but yeah, they're going to absolutely pay out the nose for this next coach. Even the governor of Louisiana stepped up today and said, well, basically, Woodward is not going to be hiring this next coach. I will be, and the president will have some say-so.
Yeah.
Damn.
The governor of Louisiana. That was said today. He said that today.
The governor said, now how about this for Woodward? You want to talk about giving him the old you're the man. He goes, myself and the president of the school will be hiring the next head coach because we're not going down that failed road again.
Now, Woodward was the athletic director that hired Jimbo Fisher at A&M, which they're going to be paying him until we're all in wheelchairs. And then he goes and hires Kelly at LSU. I mean, good for the governor to step up and say, once, shame on them, twice, shame on them, third time, shame on me. We're not going to let that happen. So,
I
don't think he's going to be the director of athletics very much longer in Baton Rouge.
you know, and Chad, I 100% agree with you to an extent, because if that's Iowa, if that's Iowa State, if it's, you know, name your school that doesn't have nil money pouring in like no other, I get it. But if I were to say to you, hey, guess what? The next coach at Penn State University is Rhett Lashley. What does that mean? You guys know where Rhett Lashley is out of?
Yeah.
SMU.
Yeah.
Okay. SMU's not having a bad, you know, season.
He was the OC at Auburn under Malzahn.
Right. But that's not going to be the hire that Penn State fans and boosters and everything else need to go, here's my money, take my check.
Yeah, and that was the direct answer to your question, Eric, is they're going to hold on. If they don't like the hire, they're not going to give no money until season 2 that he can prove he can win some games, which means they're going to have trouble recruiting.
Right. So, but how does he get to that point then?
It better be someone that they like to, you know. It's like the main booster for Auburn is the Yellowwood guy. He's the richest man in the state of Alabama. If look, Bear Bryant Jr. still has some pull at the University of Alabama. They donate a lot of money, and if they don't like who you trying to sell them,
yeah,
they gonna say no. And if you say, "Well, piss on you, I'm gonna do it anyways," all right, fine.
You don't need our money.
Where are you gonna get this money? Yeah,
this is the biggest backlash. This is the biggest backlash, maybe even an unforeseen backlash in college sports. Now, I'm not saying that Lashley's not a good coach.
right.
Okay, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying who's another one? Is it Silverford at Memphis?
I think so.
I think he's done a phenomenal job.
God, they're very competitive in their conference. Yep.
But how do you sell a Silverford or a Lashley or some of these other guys that, hey, you're not a household name outside of Memphis, but at Penn State, you're the man. You know, that's the only thing I'm getting at. It very well could happen. I'm just saying that because of the money, like you said, Brett, it's not just Chad's the athletic director, I'm the president of the university, we get together, we interview these guys, and we say, yep, Brett, you're the next head coach at whatever university.
No, it don't work like that.
It don't work like that anymore. You may interview these guys, then all of a sudden you got a meeting of about 10 of the biggest donors, and you throw these guys' names out there, and if those donors say, you hire him, forget about it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden Chad and I are like, oh, this ain't gonna work. You know,
well, LSU went for the big name last time. They went for the big splash down. How'd that work for them?
The problem for LSU was, and I think it was a problem for Brian Kelly. Okay. If I were to visit Brett in Alabama, and Brett told all of his friends, hey, I got one of my buddies from Iowa coming down to visit me. And when I met his buddies, all of a sudden, I was talking in y'all and dadgum and all that kind of stuff. What are his buddies going to think?
Yeah, they don't think smart ass.
Yeah. Well, what did Brian Kelly do?
The days, yeah.
Family.
The same thing. I mean,
He did the Hillary Clinton.
yeah, he just wasn't. Brian Kelly was never a fit at LSU.
He was a direct look. That's a I know the jokes about Alabama and all that. You guys don't understand. When I was in the casino business, I had the pleasure of going to Louisiana quite a bit because I had a lot of clients down there. That is a different culture. My brother and 2 sisters was born in New Orleans. My father lived in New Orleans for a few years. It's not to be ugly and disrespectful. It's different. It's even though what you think about Alabama or Tennessee or Kentucky or Arkansas, or all these southern states, I'm telling you, Louisiana's in its own little world. I'm telling you. And hiring Coach Kelly there would be like putting me in charge of Harvard. I mean, it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
Well,
mean,
it's
now-
a big splash name.
Could I see Brian Kelly in the Midwest?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But to go to LSU, I just never thought it was a very good fit. And I agree with you, Chad. They tried to make a splash with him, and it didn't work out. And here's the deal. I got news for you. He's not the last one. Some of these colleges that we're talking about right now are going to make a splash hire, and guess what's going to happen?
Yep.
2 years, they're going to be paying him money, and he ain't going to be the head coach.
It's going to be a turd floating in the bowl. I understand
Yes.
that. That's why I'm saying that's why you go down. There's going to be places that are going to go down to those lower levels. Find somebody who's turned programs around and is winning games and winning national titles, and they're going to bring them back and they're going to interview them, and then they're going to try and sell them to the donors.
If
So who's a
They can
perfect
sound
school
good.
for that? You know who's absolutely perfect for that? Arkansas.
Oh, 100%.
Mid-tier, lower tier. They've got some history and tradition back in the 60s and 70s. But that at Florida, LSU, and Penn State, and probably Florida State. Look, Florida State did that with Norvell. Wasn't he coaching at Memphis?
Yeah.
And what do we know at this point? There's going to be another. Auburn could be looking for a coach very soon.
This could be a record year for hiring
Yeah.
coaches in
Yeah.
both college
I
and pro.
don't know what they're going to do.
We're almost an hour in, boys. We got to move.
Oh, yeah. We better move. Even though the coaching carousel stuff is pretty interesting.
Ed's going to get mad at us.
Yeah, we don't want Ed mad at us. But
Too late.
too late. He's already mad at us. I mean, he's already given us the business anyway.
Set it the other way. I can't see it. Set it the other way. What are we looking at?
Which way? That way?
There we go.
It's still not showing up. What are we looking at?
Then I'm going back.
Got
This
that.
week's winners and losers. We're going to run through these pretty quick. And of course, I picked these because you guys don't submit me any. But on the winner side, Ole Miss's college football playoff hopes. They needed a big win. You know, they could not go into Oklahoma lose. I was hearing today, I can't remember if it was Feinbaum or Klatt that said they expect 0 3-loss teams in the SEC to make the playoff. And potentially you could see a 2-loss SEC team not make it. Potentially. So, you know, Ole Miss really needed that win to keep their college football playoff hopes alive, and they got it against Oklahoma. More than likely ending Oklahoma's. Oklahoma has a tough schedule to play out yet, but they're definitely a winner. Jump to a loser, USF, and their G5 chances. You know, losing to Memphis, I think it was 34-31. You know, not something they could afford to have happen. Doesn't mean that they're completely out of it, but that really hurts. That was a bad loss for them. You know, their big early wins may help them, may keep them toward the top. But, I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is South Florida cooked now that they lost to Memphis?
Yes.
I would say
That's
so. Yeah.
kind of the way I'm leaning too. On the winner side, Texas A&M, I mean, they're just doing it, man. They, you know, was one of those teams we talked about at the beginning of the year. You know, watch out for Texas A&M. I think a couple of us said it, but they really are the real deal. Brett, you can probably correct me. What would you consider to be Texas A&M? Because I know they're not like in the top 4 or 5 toughest schedules left in the SEC, but what is their big game left, or their, you know, big couple games they got coming down the stretch here that could trip them up?
One, and look, I think right now Texas A&M, I don't care about their schedule, the eye test. I watched enough football. They're playing the best football right now in the SEC, in my opinion. Right now, I still think they've got a higher ceiling than most of the other teams that we're talking about. But without a doubt, for some reason, even in years where Texas A&M is better than Texas, the Texas Longhorns just have their number. And it's I've watched it since I was a little kid, and they either lay an egg or the ball bounces the wrong way or they're up 2 touchdowns and the next thing you know, it's just everything seems to happen and go wrong for the Aggies when they play the Texas Longhorns. And it's the another redneck saying the dangest thing I've ever seen. If they can get through their kryptonite in Texas, they can make a big run to the championship game, and I don't mean the SEC championship game. If they get past Texas, watch out.
I would definitely concur at this point in the season. On the loser side of it, I mean, South Carolina, a win against, I mean, they had Alabama. I mean, wouldn't you agree, Brett? They had them.
I didn't worry about that game one bit. I knew we had that one.
Yeah, no, you didn't. I got receipts. I got receipts, man.
And that's look, and that's why I think Saban is the GOAT. Because very, very, very few times did we go into a game not expecting the other team's best game. Look, when you're Alabama, not bragging, when you're Notre Dame, when you're some of these schools, Ohio State, more times than not, you get the other team's best shot.
Every time.
And you better damn well be ready for it because before you know it, you're in trouble. And that's what happened Saturday. And South Carolina, they couldn't close the deal.
No, they needed that win, just a signature win to get rolling, and they just couldn't bring it back. Okay, let's do one more winner, one more loser, and then we'll do our picks. Vandy. I can't talk enough about Vanderbilt. I'm telling you what. I mean, we talked about last week, and, the 10 versus 15. Vandy got it done. They knocked Missouri off. I love Diego Pavia's moxie, man. He just doesn't care. Although I do hate the whole Heisman 2 weeks ago. Let's not do that. Let's get to that point first. But, Vandy's schedule, Brett, I think I looked back at it.
They've got Texas, Auburn, Kentucky, and Tennessee left.
So, I mean, if they get by Texas, it's pretty much a date with Tennessee, the last game of the season.
And I mean that's their Alabama, Auburn, their Ohio State, Michigan. I hate to jump off this bandwagon. If they can go 3-1 these last 4 games, they're absolutely in the playoffs. I just personally, I don't think they can do it. I think Tennessee gets them, and I think Texas gets them. Texas got the best roster money can buy, and it's going to make a difference Saturday. But I know Texas hasn't played well and all that, but I think everybody's, Vanderbilt's not going to sneak up on anybody else. I think everybody's aware Vanderbilt's a legitimate opponent now. But I'm pulling for them. I'd like to see them in the playoffs.
Both of those games are at Texas and at Tennessee too. So
yeah,
that's going to be a tough runner there.
If they can somehow go 3-1 in those last 4, they're absolutely in the playoffs.
And the last loser, I mean, we've talked about it, Brian Kelly. I mean, it just didn't work out. Now he's got 54 million reasons to be okay with it, but
cut that in half, 27.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay, 27. You give me a $27 million buyout.
He got caught being a naughty boy with a co-ed.
Huh?
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Really?
Yep.
Is that how they're angling this buyout thing?
They are angling the going from paying 52 million a year of 52 million to 27 million. They negotiated it down. He didn't fight it too hard, I guess, because he was worried about getting 0 for violating his morals contract.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
He was down there messing with somebody's family.
Yeah.
I hope it was worth it. I hope it was worth it.
Boy, it's ruined many a man, hasn't it? Whew.
Well, yeah, you're not wrong about that. There's no doubt about that. So, all right, let's get to the picks for the week on the college side. First game up, number 9 Vanderbilt 7-1 at number 20 Texas 6-2. Texas is a 1.5 favorite. 11 o'clock game on ABC. Ed has given me his picks already. Ed is taking Vandy. KJ, you got Texas. You got Texas. KJ, who you got?
I'm the perennial underdog rooter. I think back to Brett's comment, between this game and the Tennessee game, I actually would go the lesser and think that Tennessee is more likely to get the upset on Vandy than Texas is. So I'm going Commodores on this one.
Vanderbilt for KJ. Chad?
Yeah. Give me the Commodores.
And I am definitely not going against Vanderbilt. I'm taking Vandy. Brett's on an island.
Big Mike and Marty are also taking Vandy.
That's what I like to hear. Brett is all on an island all by himself.
Man, I hope I'm wrong because I will be pulling for Vandy. Absolutely.
All right, next game. Number 18, Oklahoma, 6-2 at number 14, Tennessee, 6-2. Tennessee is a 3-point favorite. Ed has Tennessee. I just don't know how Oklahoma goes into Tennessee and wins. I might have had a different view had they beat Ole Miss at home, but they couldn't get that done. I'm going with Tennessee. Chad?
Give me the Rocky Top.
KJ?
Hell hath no fury like an Appalachian Smoky Mountain wife. So, yep, go Vols all day.
Brett, you making a sweep?
Yeah. Rocky flop. Just too much offense. And that's a brutal place to play. Very tough.
Big Mike and Marty also have Tennessee, so it is definitely a clean sweep there. Next game, number 17, Cincinnati, 7-1 at number 24, Utah, 6-2. 2 ranked teams, but a 9.5-point Utah favor.
Whoa.
If we were playing spreads, which we would, I would take Cincinnati in the points. However, we are not, so I am taking Utah. Ed also has Utah. Brett?
I know the Utes dropped a game earlier this season against Texas Tech, but Utah is typically very tough at home. Give me the Utes.
KJ?
Forget the artist, the name escapes me, but it's the cliche song. My mind's telling me no, but my body.
My body.
The fan in me, the UH fan, obviously wants Utah to win, but I honestly think people are discounting Cincy this year. I think they're another dark horse, and I'm going Bearcats on this one. So
KJ's going Cincy. Chad?
Give me those fighting Utes.
Big Mike's got Cincy and Marty's got Utah. All right. The last game, not too many close games, I guess, in college this week. Number 23, USC is a 6.5-point favorite at Nebraska, 6-2.
What you think, T?
I believe USC is also 6-2. I'm not sure why I didn't put that in there.
Oh, yeah?
I've taken Nebraska a couple times, and it has killed me.
Chad has evangelized us to the nth degree and has tried to take
Yeah, and Nebraska hasn't shown me that it
Illegal.
matters for them playing at home. So I am going with the Trojans. Chad, I know you're going with USC. Brett?
He didn't even ask you. He just
No.
wrote
USC
it
by
down.
3.
Yeah. I already know the answer.
USC is going to win by 3 in the last seconds of the game.
No, I might take Nebraska in the points, but I'm not taking it straight up. Brett, who you got?
I'll be pulling for Nebraska for Chad, but I mean, look, USC still doesn't have much of a defense, but they're pretty solid on offense this year. Give me USC, unfortunately. Fight on, or whatever they say. Well,
Yeah.
they damn sure don't fight on the defensive side of the ball, but what do I know?
Right. KJ, who you got?
Remember, boys, no glove, no love. So strap on and go Trojans. That's all I can say.
Oh, jeez. That makes it a clean sweep with Big Mike and Marty. All right. That ends the college segment, a loaded one. We always run out of time for whatever reason. So when we come back, we are going to press on to the NFL, and we have even more stuff with the NFL. So we got to get to it, boys. We can't be screwing around. After a word from our sponsor. Where did everybody go? Looks like I'm all by myself. Everybody forgets how quick the commercial goes. So I guess I will take us through the power rankings for this week. I have taken over the NFL power ranking duties for Ed until Ed returns. So let's go through them real quick. I know this probably doesn't jive with some. I've seen a lot of power rankings out there that have the Kansas City Chiefs up at top. I, however, do not. I think you got to earn that. I'm not just going to watch you play 3 or 4 good games and just say, oh, they're back. You're automatically up there. I still think getting challenged really hard by the Colts. I still think the Detroit Lions are a solid team defensively, offensively, both sides of the ball. So they're going to stay. They're going to stay at the top. Like I said, followed closely by the surprise Indianapolis Colts. Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones has got them really rolling. It's good to see. We've talked about it many times on the show where, you know, a guy gets a second chance. You know, he gets an opportunity with a team like that after, you know, really a miserable stint with New York, you know, and then comes in and does what he's doing there. So Indianapolis is at 2. The Rams are at 3. Pains me to put Green Bay at 4, but that's where they're at. They're 5-1-1, and Jordan Love had another good game the other night. Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay at 5. Philly at 6. Buffalo at 7. Kansas City at 8. A big game this weekend between those two. We'll be picking that one. I've got Seattle at 9. I'm not sure about Seattle yet. They have been playing really well. I just don't know if they have, the things that they need to be that top, in the upper echelon of the NFL. But they still have they got some time to prove that. Denver at 10. It hasn't looked pretty all the time, but certainly, they keep winning. If they do get it figured out, they're going to be very difficult, especially at Mile High. Patriots at 11. Drake May has the Patriots, rolling pretty good. Lucky for them, their second-year quarterback is playing really well. He's got it figured out. He's not making mistakes, and that's exactly what a team needs to have happen. 49ers at 12. Somehow they have managed to keep it together with all the injuries. Mac Jones has come in and done a admirable job, I guess, even though they dropped one to the Texans here this past week. They're starting to get healthy, and I think there's a chance that Brock Purdy comes back this week. The Aaron Rodgers-led Steelers at 13. I just don't know if they've got any punching power when it comes to that. The Superchargers at 14, and I did put the Ravens at 15. Lamar Jackson coming back. They are in must-win mode every single game. And then you can kind of see how everything else shakes out there from the Jaguars clear down to the Saints. As much as I hate the fact that my Bears are just not very good, they just are not consistent enough. They drop a big game to the Baltimore Ravens, and it just really, 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 cut our 4-game winning streak. Just really hurt us. Outside of that, the inconsistent Falcons, look like world beaters one week and then can't score a point the next. The Cowboys are the Cowboys. Minnesota gets J.J. McCarthy back, but we'll see how it ends up for them. And then you can kind of see the also rans there. So those are the power rankings going into week 9 of the NFL. I can bring Chad back now. Maybe. There he is.
Hey.
I came back and everybody was gone.
I was having interweb problems, so
you're having problems. KJ disappeared. Brett's got a blank screen. I don't know if he's napping or what he's doing, but I don't know if you saw the power rankings, Chad, but anything you can see here, I'm sure there's plenty. I've seen plenty of power rankings out there that have Kansas City at 1. That kind of thing. So I don't know. Pick away. What am I missing?
Well, I think you're a little low on the Eagles. I mean, and I look up and I see the Colts and I'm like, can Indiana Jones keep this up? This is insane. Does this keep happening?
I mean, they have found lightning in a bottle. Their running back. I love it, but their running back, whose name just popped out of my head.
I love the fact Irsay's daughter. Jonathan Taylor, the running back. Yeah.
He's on a pace to break Saquon Barkley's record, or to break the rushing record for a single season. You know that?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see if he does it. I mean,
yeah, I'm not saying he will. I'm just saying he's on pace.
He's having an amazing season. Amazing. But I mean, they've always had him. So the difference maker here. Well, first he's healthy and the old line's playing well. And you know what? About the Colts, but a little off topic. Irsay, passed away and he left the team to his daughter. I love the fact that she is so into this. She's trying to learn everything she can about the team. She's on the sidelines every game with an earpiece and a notepad, and she's listening to the coaches and she's taking notes and watching the game right down on the sideline.
Yeah. And she 100% said, you know, because at first there was some criticism. She goes, listen, I need to learn everything I can about this if I'm going to be the owner of a team. That's why I do it. And the more I can learn, I feel like the better owner I'm going to be. I mean, hats off to her. Kudos. I mean, you know, most owners sit up in a box and sip on whatever they're sipping and cheer or get mad when things don't go right. But she's on that sideline trying to learn everything that she can.
Yeah, and try listening to the coaches and seeing if they're, you know, when she talks to them, if they're full of shit or if they're, if they're walking their walk. And I think it's fantastic. You know, there's so many teams. I just don't know if they're real.
Right.
You know, are the Seahawks real? I think Kansas City's too low. And if we're going to talk about teams that have a realistic chance of winning the Super Bowl, you know me, I've got Buffalo way down the list. Because, yes, they're good and they beat teams, but what are their chances of winning the Super Bowl? So I'm torn. When I think of things like this. So they're good. They're good now. They're good during the regular season, but so I have a hard time believing. I have a hard time taking that as legitimate in that they can't do it in the playoffs and they're not going to go to the Super Bowl and they're not going to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now, are any of these other teams ranked above them? I don't know, but I know they're not gonna.
Right. And the most difficult part, because I'm like you. If I look at this list, I have maybe a circle of teams that I would put on the inner circle of Super Bowl contenders that I could see winning the Super Bowl.
Let's highlight those. Who do you got as Super Bowl contenders? Who do you got as teams that can actually go and win the Super Bowl?
So if this was an NFL Super Bowl power ranking, it would look substantially different. This, however, is just a weekly power ranking.
I understand.
Yes. But give me your top 4 or 5 teams that you think have the best chance to win the Super Bowl. If I put a circle around, I'll just say 5 teams. Inside that circle would be the Lions, Kansas City, Philadelphia, Green Bay, and possibly LA. And the only reason I don't include the Bills in there, I mean, I could put the Bills in there because obviously, you know, I know your statistic and it is a thing as far as winning the Super Bowl, you know, so I mean, I could put the Bills in there, but I think we all know it's not going to happen. Now, if I were to put fringe contenders just outside the circle, I would put Tampa Bay out there. You know, you never know. I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl, but Baker Mayfield keeps them interesting, keeps them in games. Indianapolis for sure. I know they're one of the best teams in the NFL, but, you know, it's been a long time since they've been there. And can we trust Daniel Jones, you know, with just 8 games worth of playing? We know what the other games he was like. You know, can we trust him to be able to take him all the way to the Super Bowl? I'm not a big believer in Seattle, Super Bowl contender, anything like that. They're just, you know, they're just a good team, but I don't see them as a Super Bowl caliber team. I think at least on the AFC side of it, you got to pay attention to New England. You have to pay attention to New England. So I think the list, so that would be my list.
My circle is much, much smaller. My circle is the Lions, Kansas City, Philly, and that's it. I think those in my mind, the Super Bowl champion is going to be one of those 3 teams.
What do you think, Brett, now that you're back?
Man, I would touch on what you guys had mentioned with the Colts when I was back. You're absolutely right. How impressive have they been? And I love the new owner, the owner's daughter or whatever. I mean, you guys did a fabulous job mentioning that. I couldn't agree more. Unfortunately, on this Super Bowl, who's legitimate contenders? I mean, believe it or not, I'm with you on Detroit, Kansas City, unfortunately. And by the way, who did these power rankings?
I did.
No, Eric. Look, as much as we all are tired of Kansas City, you got to have them higher than 8, brother.
This is it. We know what they look like at the beginning.
It's a totally different team, and
I understand that. We know what they look like at the beginning, and they've put 4 games together.
I'm going to tell you what, and God, I hate to even mention this, but right now they look like the best team to me. And I look, as long as someone on this list wins the Super Bowl, not Kansas City, I'll be okay. But Detroit, Kansas City, I'm going against the grain on Eric because I've always kind of pulled for Buffalo, but he's probably right. Chad, excuse me. And the Eagles and Green Bay. I don't think the Colts have enough. The Rams don't have enough defense. Tampa's a good story. Baker's fun to watch and all that. And I'm with you on Seattle's not ready, but I'll tell you what, depending on what New England does in the offseason, watch out for New England next year. But those are the teams I think has a legitimate chance to win it.
Okay.
I'm trying not to let my bias get in here. I just don't see Green Bay as a realistic Super Bowl contender that they have a chance to win it. I just don't see it.
I'm with you, Chad. But
yeah, they're very borderline. They're the last one on my list.
Tell me where, and I'm taking my Bears hat off and just putting my analyst hat on. Tell me where they're weak. Tell me what they don't do well.
Can we move on?
No,
I'm starting to get nauseated talking about Green Bay.
I get it, but I'm just trying to be, fair here. Tell me what Green Bay doesn't do well.
They look pretty good, unfortunately.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. They have a handful of receivers who are good. They don't have any that are great.
Right.
And that's imperative in NFL 2025. I don't necessarily believe the coach is there yet. And I'm not going to disparage Love, but I just don't think that he's there yet either. And when I say those things, the first thing that popped up in my head was I said the same exact thing in 1991 or 92 when I said the Dallas Cowboys weren't going to win it because the coach isn't ready and the quarterback's not ready and this team's not ready. And then they went out and beat everybody's ass and won the damn thing. So I'm not poo-pooing that, although Jimmy Johnson had won, a couple of national titles. But I'm not sold on them. Are they going to make the playoffs? They're clearly going to make the playoffs. Can they win a game? Yeah, absolutely they can win a game. Can they win a Super Bowl? I don't know. Although he's due. I mean, the Green Bay Packers are due for their one Super Bowl win for a quarterback. It's time.
Age 27. Here it is.
He's time to win one.
Going back, this is why.
When do we get there as Bears fans? When do we get our one every quarterback?
I don't know. We got to get a quarterback first, apparently. I don't know about this one.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Listen to you.
Oh, shit. You know what? When he's already given up, it's not a good sign.
This weekend really thumped me. Like, it was like things were trending up. Even when he made mistakes, we were still okay. I mean, I'm not going to put
sideways this weekend for the first time this year. It did a number on me.
But here's my argument on Kansas City as to why I'm not ready to anoint them Super Bowl champions again.
Jesus.
Washington Commanders. Jaden Daniels, Washington Commanders. Las Vegas Raiders. We all know what they are. They did beat Detroit. Detroit kind of beat themselves a little bit in that game, but they did beat Detroit. They lose to the Jaguars. They did beat the Ravens at home. They beat the Giants. They lost to the Eagles, and they lost to the Chargers. So if you take teams with winning records or the like, what we would consider to be tougher teams in the NFL, they are 2-3. Now, when it comes to the power rankings, when I look at their schedule moving forward, this week it's the Bills. The week after that, they get a bye. Then it's the Broncos. Then it's the Colts. Then it's at Dallas, which Dallas is a totally different team at home than they are on the road. And the Texans, Chargers. Now, they go through that part of their schedule, and they roll. I'll first want to say, not the Chiefs again. But if you look at where they're at right now, yes, have they gotten the train back on the tracks? Yes. But who have they gotten the train back on the tracks with? The likes of the Raiders, Jane Daniels Commanders. I mean, that's just – I'm not ready to anoint them Super Bowl champions yet.
I think what the NFL should be concerned with is they got the train on the tracks. So a lot of that is just confidence. They also get Rashee Rice back. I think they've made some trades. And if they go and do,
and Mahomes is looking like the old Mahomes.
Yep. And if they go and make some sort of trade, and which just popped into my head because I know his name's been floating around to get traded, and it's near to your heart, Eric. But if they go and get somebody like trade for like Breece Hall,
don't say it. I don't even want to think about it.
I mean, they're right now they're leaning on old man running the ball,
right? Well, and
so I'm just telling you, they know how to win. And
that'd be a fantastic story for the Colts. The way they're playing and just trashing people, wouldn't it be unreal for them with the new owner, the daughter, to make it to the Super Bowl with the quarterback that nobody wanted?
Yep.
Nobody. You know
what I'm saying
I just want to emphasize this. In the NFL, knowing how to win is a lot.
Oh yeah.
Detroit didn't know how to win.
Right.
Now they know how to win. Chicago does not know how to win, and I don't know if they will ever know how to win. If you know how to win, look at the Niners. As miserable of an injury-riddled season as they have had, they know how to win. They piece wins together.
Yeah.
That's why they almost made my fourth team. They know how to win. If you know how to win, that changes everything.
Yeah.
We can talk about San Francisco because you just write them off because half of them walk around with a limb and a cast,
Yeah. I mean, and again, I said this prior to the power rankings before you guys were on. Plenty to argue about, but if Kansas City goes into Buffalo and loses 30-20, then what?
Look, yeah, I think everybody here knows. I'm not saying Kansas City's going to win that game, but they're going to give Buffalo everything they want and more. We've seen this movie over and over and over again. Don't forget they went to Buffalo last season and lost in the last few seconds. To me,
yeah, they lost in Buffalo last year. That Buffalo can beat them. that's all fine and dandy.
Right.
You don't let them in the playoffs. You have to
Right.
keep them out of the playoffs.
Right.
If
No,
they get it,
100%.
if they're the 09 or whatever year it was,
Right.
Arizona Cardinals at 9-7 getting in. You know, if they're 9-8 getting into the playoffs, I mean,
Everybody's in trouble. Big trouble.
everybody is in trouble. If they're
Yeah.
10-7 and they squeak into the last seed in the playoffs, everybody better buckle their seatbelts because it's about to get on.
Well, there's where all the teams stand after week 8. New England leading the AFC East, Pittsburgh in the North. I mean, that North is just woof.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about, and I didn't think about this for winners and losers, but Cincinnati, they had a chance to be sitting at 4-4, and they totally collapse against the New York Jets.
Yeah.
I mean, they had an absolute chance to really position themselves, to try to stay with Pittsburgh, and they just 100% collapsed. Indy appears to be running away with the AFC South. And then, of course, you've got the West, 6-2 Denver, 5-3 Chargers, 5-3 Kansas City, and then Las Vegas, they also ran. On the NFC side, Phillies winning the East pretty handily. Green Bay, that tie, I think, is going to haunt Detroit all year long. That tie is going to just be a thorn in their side, but we'll see.
You
Tampa
mean Green Bay?
Yeah, that tie.
Yeah.
You
It
know,
gives them the better winning percentage.
And I'm going to be honest with you. Dallas, in my opinion, outplayed them in that game.
Yeah. Oh, no question. Tampa Bay in the South and Seattle and the Rams, followed by San Francisco in the West. I mean, you can see the West and the North pretty competitive. The East and the South look like that's pretty much a runaway. The decline of Washington, either because Jaden Daniels has been injured, sophomore slump, injuries across the board, whatever. I feel bad for the Giants, and I'll bring that up here.
This ought to be interesting. Why do you feel bad for the Giants?
Well, I had them in this week's winners and losers. Cam Scadaboo and
That was
Dart,
brutal.
win or lose games, the Giants were actually getting to the point where they were fun to watch.
Yeah.
Win or lose, they were fun to watch. And the Giants fans actually had something to get excited about for the future. And not that they won't be excited for the future, but at least for this year. I mean, you've got Neighbors out. He's done for the year. And now Scadaboo's done for the year. So
that was horrific.
that was bad. When I saw his ankle just kind of, you couldn't really, from the angle I saw, you couldn't even see a foot. It was just the two bones trying to poke out through. It was bad. But that's why I included the Giants. I should have put fans on there along with Cam Scadaboo because, I mean, the dude's just a competitor, and he was just a rookie having fun. And now that's over for both of them. But so, yeah, I have them in this week's winners and losers. A winner on the winner side, Tyler Schuff, he's, I don't know. What do you guys think? Are the Saints just making a change for the sake of making a change?
Well, I think they're looking at having a top pick. So we drafted this kid last year. We've got to see if he's any good. We already know Rattler ain't it.
Right.
Tyler Shuck is almost 40 years old. They got to get him in and see if he's got anything, because if he doesn't, they're looking at drafting another quarterback this year. In case you don't pay attention to these things, this quarterback class before the season started was very touted. They were very highly thought of. This was going to be a big quarterback class, and all of these quarterbacks everybody thought were fantastic have all shit the bed.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how the draft is going to go down. So they're going to have to make a decision, and I think he's 26 or 27 years old. All jokes aside, he's got to get in there. They've got to play him. They've got to see what they've got. If he's a total, how NFL teams now, if he's not good in the first 5 games,
Right.
He's a total bust. I mean, just look at you giving up on Caleb. So, I mean, I don't blame him for doing it. It's his chance. He's got to seize his opportunity. He's got to make everything he can out of this and try and seize this moment.
Well, and since you brought it up, I'm not giving up on Caleb, but it's
I knew that was
I derailed us.
it's just it's like
me and Ed. I brought up Caleb to Ed last night, and I said, I just don't know if Eric and we basically said, if Eric gives up on him, that's it. And then you bring it up tonight.
Well,
Wow.
I am a Bears fan, and I have been a Bears fan my entire life. I've never rooted for another NFL team ever. And so I am one of the most loyal guys for my team. And when they drafted Justin Fields, when they drafted Mitch Trubisky, I was one of those like, who? What?
Oh, I was so angry. Let's not even go there.
Well,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, I was like, who?
Oh.
What? Well, then I'm like, well, I guess we got to give the guy a chance. We got whatever. Gave him a chance. First year he takes him to the playoffs. Whatever. And then it all just kind of fell apart. And, then we draft Fields. And I'm like, well, he's dynamic. He's an athlete. Ohio State, I get it. Ohio State quarterbacks don't tend to be that successful in the NFL, but maybe Fields is the first one. And, the first year, yeah, the record didn't say it, but he did a lot of dynamic things. I'm like, okay, we can build on this stuff. And then the second year, similar to what they did with Mitch Trubisky, and I get it, the NFL wants guys to sit in the pocket so the offensive linemen know where they're at and they can block for them, whatever. But it's like they just told Justin or they told Mitch Trubisky the same thing. Don't get out of the pocket. You stay there and you deliver the football. Well, and you're still seeing it today. And it's the reason why Justin is so hot and cold is, he'll have a game where you're like, oh, there it is. And then for 3 games, one game he threw for 79 yards. Like, he just doesn't see the field very well. And that's been well documented. We've talked about it on the show. I've given you snippet after snippet of him missing wide open receivers with no pressure on him. And it's like, now, if I'm Caleb Williams, what have we heard about Caleb Williams? He doesn't make the layups. He can make a throw that every Bears fan goes, wow.
Yep, that's what I told Ed. I said, there's not a half a dozen quarterbacks in the league that can make a better throw than him.
Oh,
But everything else.
yeah. It's like, just make your layups. Don't miss a guy in the flat by 3 foot. Don't underthrow him by 4 foot. Make that throw. But for some reason, we're going into week 9, so we're through 8 weeks, and he hasn't been able to do that.
So his throwing motion is it his footwork. He just always, when he's missing those throws that we're talking about, he looks out of sorts with how he's
his
balance.
His footwork is very undisciplined.
Right.
He's got Aaron Rodgers' footwork sometimes, and Aaron Rodgers gets away with it because he had such a great arm and such a great accuracy. Most quarterbacks cannot get away with that kind of footwork,
right.
and he is doing he turns square. His hips are open. His left foot is out. It's not going towards the target, and it's very poor footwork. And I mean,
Is there a
footwork is
quarterback
something you can't
specialist
fix.
that we can hire to get him out of that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Steve Young's footwork was terrible, and they fixed it. You can fix footwork. It just takes a lot of work to do that.
But
Well, I mean, I think he's got an unbelievable upside. I still do with some of the plays he makes. When he makes, you're like, holy shit! And then, like Eric said, the next out he overthrows by 3 yards, too high, and then the next in or the next flat pattern he throws it 2 yards in front of their feet, and you're like, I mean, it's just so inconsistent. And I've noticed just how the off balance stuff that he does, it's like he's wanting to be Patrick Mahomes. But if he would just be Tom Brady
yeah,
with all the fundamentals or Joe Montana or something like that, he would be hell. But he's just, every time he throws the ball, his arm angle's different, his footwork's different. It's like, I mean, from play to play, you don't know how he's going to throw the ball.
no.
The other thing to remember, the Bears as a loser, yes, this roster needs a lot of improvement yet. And the bigger question is, do we have the GM to do that? That's the bigger question.
I still want to know who made the call to ruin our last draft. That tight end pick, we had so many things we could fix with that pick. There was so many defensive linemen on that board. There was some studs on the offensive line. And we take, hold on now. We've only got 11 tight ends. We need 12.
Yeah. I mean,
I love you, Brett. Thank you. That's what I said when Colston Loveland's name came off the board. Remember, I was melting down here on the show.
you were on our
Oh,
draft show.
I just cannot believe.
But I mean, I know they're fixable things, but if I'm a quarterback and I know I'm missing those layups, I mean, is that something that can be fixed? I mean, he knows that's a problem. His completion percentage is awful. I mean, what to me, that's the kind of stuff, like you said, it is footwork. But I mean, that's the kind of stuff that a quarterback of his ability, of his, going to USC, whatever, you should be able to fix that. And I mean,
he has zero confidence. Look at him. Once he gets in that typical pattern of we go 3 and out, 2 or 3 drives in a row, it looks like he just walked in and someone had, messed with his girl, or he had found out his dog got run over. I mean, he has zero confidence. And one thing I mentioned to you privately that I noticed already was that our head coach don't look like he's a big fan of him.
no.
And he looks extremely frustrated already.
But
And I wonder how many more games of this we're going to see, and hopefully none. Hopefully he'll do a 360 before we see Badgett, because there was a reason in the offseason we gave Badgett that money to keep him.
right.
Because the coach probably went to the front office and said, hey, I'm not sold on this guy. We need to hold on to Badgett.
Ed, I'm in charge of the show. Keep your comments to yourself. But one last comment before we move to a winning side is the thing about Williams is this. Ben Johnson did not go to Washington. He could have went to Washington to have Daniels. And he didn't. Why do you choose Caleb Williams then? And then, like you said, you see the expressions on Ben Johnson's face, like, Jesus, just all the time. Like,
Because I think Caleb has got one hell of a high ceiling, but if he doesn't learn some fundamentals and get disciplined rather quick, it's going to snowball on him.
yeah, well, I think you're definitely right about that. But Winner, Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, the guy gets a huge contract, the most guaranteed money ever to a non-QB. Second highest contract to Micah Parsons in Green Bay. I mean, the dude's an animal. He's proven it. I mean, so my question is, how is Detroit keeping all these guys?
I don't think, I'm not sure, but I don't think Goff's contract is that big.
Well,
No,
I
it's
think
not. But
I think he's like 35 mil a year or something like that.
But you
it's
signed,
big enough.
it's big enough. But you signed,
but that's not in the 50s and 60s.
no, but you signed David Montgomery to a 3-year, $80 or $85 million contract. You got Gibbs. I don't know what Gibbs is. Is he still on a rookie deal?
Gibbs is still on a
Gibbs is still on a rookie
contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you got St. Brown's contract. You've got who's the other guy I'm missing on that side of the. You got Hawkinson's contract.
Yeah.
Or not Hawkinson's, Laporta and
They're all still on rookie deals.
Yeah, the speedster from Alabama, Williams, is still on a rookie deal as well.
but
The only veterans that have signed in their second contracts that are big names are Goff, who I was wrong. He's at 53 mil. Amon-Ra's got an extension. I'm pretty sure Gibbs is still in his rookie deal.
Their star safety, Branch, out of Alabama, is still on his rookie deal, I believe, as well.
yeah, I think you're right.
They've got a lot of young guys. Their time is coming in the next year or two. Their window is closing.
Yeah, I was just going to say their window. How much more time do they have in this window?
Right. But congratulations, Aiden Hutchinson, for the big contract. Definitely well deserved. He'd look a lot better in a Bears jersey, however.
No doubt about that.
Right. The Bengals defense. I mean, how do you
that?
How do you?
Oh, they have one?
They have, yeah, right. They have one. If you're Hendrickson, like, dude, like you are the only guy on that defense. The only guy.
I was hoping our Bears was going to sign him in offseason, but why would they do that?
Yeah, I don't know why you'd pursue that either, to have an edge rusher pair with Sweat on the other side. But, I mean, you cough one up to the Jets after being up by, 14 points. I mean, everything looked good, and then boom, there you are. But, I mean, the Bengals defense obviously gets that.
Yeah, but that's not surprising. We all knew that coming into the season.
Well,
They dumped all their money into the offense.
right.
They were totally screwing over the defense. We knew that.
And now their quarterback's out.
But what killed them was, and why it makes them even a bigger loser, is they needed that game to stay pace with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they could have.
Well, there is no D in Cincinnati, and there is no D in Bengals.
Yeah, that's right. Daniel Jones. Yeah, we've talked about him already. The dude just keeps playing. He's phenomenal. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I never would have said that. Bust label attached to him all over the place, and now all he does is win. Let's do a final loser here. I mean, the Atlanta Falcons. What are they doing? 1 week, they look like they could beat almost any team in the NFL. And then the next week, they come out and just lay a tremendous egg. Just when you think their defense, oh man, the Atlanta defense it's coming for you. It just disappears. I know Penix, I think this last week Penix was hurt. Kirk Cousins, let's face it, he's just a clipboard holder. But I mean, man, the Falcons really had an opportunity, but it's so up and down. I mean, didn't they get beat by the Panthers like 30-0?
Yeah.
That was with Penix. So, I know it's his first year starting, but, so definitely this weekend and probably a couple weeks, they could definitely fall in the loser category. I threw this one in there. The cheaters. The Ravens. The reason I put them in there is they needed this win against the Bears. They play Miami on Thursday with Lamar Jackson back. But they acted like Lamar Jackson was going to play on Friday, and then all of a sudden on Saturday it comes out he's not playing. I know the league looked into it, but they're not going to do anything about it. But definitely a win for the Ravens because they needed it. They need a lot more, but with Lamar coming back, I'm sure they'll be okay. What do the Ravens have to do to get to the playoffs?
Well, they're in a good division for that to happen, because the Steelers are the best team, but that's a stretch. They're not that good. They need to go on a winning streak and need to beat a bunch of teams. The question is, what's their schedule look like?
I think, if I'm not mistaken, they've got a favorable schedule. I think 10-7 wins that division.
They're at Dolphins, at the Vikings, WW, at the Browns, W, so that they can roll off 3 wins in a row, easy, maybe 4. They got the Jets, then they got the Bengals, and then finally December 7th they play the Steelers.
Yeah.
Holy
And these Steelers are not our fathers and grandfathers Steelers.
No.
They don't. Their defense looks like a big, just dumpster fire.
Now
that's the best team they have left. They played the Steelers twice. They played the Packers and they played the Patriots. Those are their 4 tough games remaining.
But I would say I say they win up the rest of them, they could go 2-2 in those tough games and still make the playoffs. And then all you're going to hear is,
then you're looking at a
Ravens.
wild card though, and can they get the wild card?
Yeah, that I don't know, but their schedule definitely
Probably
plays
not.
out to where they could potentially do that. Okay. As it sits right now, here's our playoff picture. If the playoffs were to start after week 8, you would
Can
see.
you flip it the other way? Maybe I can see it.
Which way do you want it? Do you want it this way?
Yeah, I still can't see it.
Still can't see it. If they were to start today, the 1 seeds would go to Indianapolis and Green Bay. So they would have the bye. Kansas City would play New England. Chargers would play Denver. And Buffalo would play at Pittsburgh. San Francisco would be at Philadelphia. The Rams would be at Tampa Bay. And the Lions would be at Seattle.
Wow.
I have to believe that this is going to change. However, I don't see the NFC picture changing much.
No.
Now, the seeds may change. You could see San Francisco be a 5 seed. You could see the Lions being the 1 seed. You could see Philadelphia being the 1. I could see the seeds changing, but realistically, I do not see the playoff picture on that side changing much. On the AFC side, I'm not a huge believer in Pittsburgh. I could see Pittsburgh collapse. The Chargers, if they stay healthy, I know they got Alt back, looked better.
And I think they may get the running back, Amari Hampton, in a couple of weeks.
So. Yeah, a couple of weeks. But again, other than Pittsburgh, does that look like the AFC picture? Just the seeds may change?
Are all 3 teams from the West going to get into the playoffs?
Other than beating each other.
I'm not sold on Denver or Pittsburgh. I think Denver's probably still a year away. And Pittsburgh's defense, I can't say this enough. Other than J.J. Watt, do they have anyone? I know they let Minkah Fitzpatrick go to Miami. They Their defense, I don't know what they are statistically, but they do not pass the eye test. That is
I
I'll tell
see,
you
and
where they're at.
I'm not sold on the Chargers. I was at the beginning of the season like, oh, the Chargers are good, and then they have. I know there's been injuries, but they have been bad. in
Well,
blowing
Herbert's been
games.
running for his life. You know, I mean, they had a lot of injuries up front, very similar to Minnesota up front. But I will tell you a stat about the Steelers, Brett. One stat about the Steeler defense is this: it's the highest paid defense in the NFL. That's what I can tell you. Highest paid defense in the NFL. 152 million on that side of the ball.
how much of that's TJ?
I'm sure a huge chunk of it. But
Their
yeah,
defense hasn't been around all year.
no. And ironically enough, you know, Aaron Rodgers has been able to keep them in games one way or the other. But who could have anticipated, you know, that division being anything but the Ravens division?
I love it.
Well, I do too.
Ravens.
I do too, but so I don't see much movement on the NFC side except for maybe seeding. You know, I could agree with you that maybe the Broncos fall off, maybe the Chargers. So if they do, then who takes their place?
Well, we mentioned it, possibly the Ravens.
Okay, that would be the Steelers probably. You know, who gets in? Who takes the Broncos? Who takes the Chargers out?
This is going to make me throw up a little bit in my mouth, but the Jaguars.
Possibly.
Possibly.
That's a possibility.
I mean, I'll pull up their remaining schedule here. They've got Raiders, Texans, Chargers at home, Cardinals, Titans, Colts at home, Jets at Broncos, at Colts, Titans at home.
Yeah.
Well, what about the Texans?
That's a possibility, but
I'm not.
But if you look at this, I mean, if the two teams don't come out of the AFC West, they got to come from somewhere.
Right.
I mean, if it's not Baltimore, because I think there's one team coming out of the AFC North, and if Baltimore makes their run, that means they've probably beaten the Steelers twice.
Right.
Okay. And if we agree that Buffalo and New England are probably coming out of the East, somebody, I mean, the South, maybe Jacksonville, Houston, maybe.
It's not going to be the Texans. Texans have to play the Broncos, Jaguars, Bills, Colts, Chiefs, Chargers, Colts again.
Good Lord.
So not the Texans. So if we eliminate the Texans, now you're saying to me, if it's not,
see the Jacksonville or Baltimore.
well, in order for the Chargers and Denver to not make it, if we're assuming Kansas City wins the West, then, I mean, realistically, I think only one team's coming out of the North. It's either going to be Baltimore or Pittsburgh. So
I think at least two teams are coming out of the West.
Yeah.
I think two teams are going to come out of the East, Buffalo and New England. The winner of the North, the winner of the South, the Colts.
And then it's going to be either Jacksonville or the third place team in the West.
Yep.
Or Pittsburgh continues to run, and it's Pittsburgh and Baltimore and Kansas City and Denver, let's say, Indianapolis, New England, and Buffalo. So realistically, there's really, if I put the playoff picture back up there, there's probably only, I mean, two potential teams on the AFC side that aren't there right now. And we're only in week 8.
Yeah.
Going into week 9. And
There's some really, really bad teams in the NFL this year, and quite a few of them.
well, but it's I mean, there's some fringe teams, but they're like, the Bears aren't eliminated. I'm like, yeah, they are. Like, I can't see them making a run. We couldn't anticipate Minnesota falling off like they did, and there's just such a separation. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the playoff picture plays out, but I'm going to save that just to see if we were right in our thinking. Quick look before we get into our picks. How's the NFL hot seat looking, boys? Who do we think's going by the wayside?
Dolphins.
McDaniels, I think, is done, pending a miracle.
Bengals, Ravens.
Browns. I think Kevin Stefanski's toast.
Really?
Yeah. There's going to be 7 or 8 of them. Titans already hacked theirs. There's always going to be 7 or 8. A third of the league turns over every year, roughly.
Giants.
Yeah, I think they've had enough of him. Right, wrong, or indifferent.
Does Aaron Glenn make it in New York? Do they give Aaron Glenn another year?
With the Jets and their decision making, who knows?
Well, the thing of it is,
Cardinals.
Johnson came out and said he pretty much put it all at the feet of the quarterback. So I don't know if that was a, pat on the back for Glenn or what, like we're keeping you. But it was like, well, we don't have a quarterback to lead this team. So, but Aaron Glenn, I think, has been mentioned on the hot seat.
After 1 year, that's pretty crazy.
I think for Aaron Glenn's sake, I think he jumped the gun a little bit. Took the head job in New York. It's an uphill battle anyway.
Right.
But,
their franchise and roster is such a mess to begin with. You're going to fire the man after 1 year after taking over that?
Yeah. But, look at how they fired Robert Saleh. He had his side of the ball right.
Yeah. They might eventually admit that down the road, but they screwed that up. They should have kept him.
I think San Francisco is glad to have him back.
He deserved to be fired, and the GM deserved to be fired because they turned their franchise over to Aaron Rodgers and let him run the franchise.
Well,
a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I don't think you can argue that, but Robert Saleh did have his side of the ball right at least. Aaron Glenn, I don't know how it's looking right now. So, all right. Anything else on the NFL side, boys? I skipped over a few losers. Dak Prescott's MVP case took a real hit this weekend because they weren't at home. He looks like an MVP at home. On the road. That pretty much covers the one that I didn't get to. Anything else NFL-wise? We got a lot of close games. We got a lot of games to pick, so we just will get to it.
Let's get to it.
All right. First game. Bears 4-3, 2.5-point favorites at the Bungles, 3-5, Sunday at noon. I'm going to go against everything I believe in, and I'm taking the Bears. They got to win this one, or Ben Johnson's going to probably just disintegrate on the sidelines.
Give me the Bears. I just think the Bengals are just so bad. I think this is a potentially get right game for the Bears.
Well, and it sounds like Flacco is really up in the air with his throwing shoulder. So they'll be back to God, what's his name? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Yeah, the backup that was in Browning. There you go. Brett, who you got?
The Bears for two reasons. I can't afford to buy any new TVs or sheetrock right now. So,
KJ took the Bears. Ed took the Bungles.
Of course you did.
Of course
of course
he did.
they did.
And Big Mike took the Bears. So it would have been a sweep except for Ed. Next game, 49ers 5-3, 2.5-point favorites at the Giants 2-6.
Ooh, it's a noon game.
It's a noon game.
Is Brock back?
It's a possibility.
I don't think so. I mean, from what I gather, it's going to be Mac. But
Yeah,
like you said, it's a possibility.
even with that, I think the Giants, that the Cam Scatterboo, I mean, that's a killer. That's just a killer. And with Neighbors already gone, I'm taking the Niners. KJ has the Niners. Ed took the Giants. Chad, who you got?
Yeah, give me the Niners.
Brett?
Ed took the Giants. Did he take his muscle relaxers when he was making his
I don't know. Maybe
49ers.
Brett takes the Niners.
Giants is going to have one hell of a hangover from that Philadelphia game and losing Scatterboo. It's not going to be good, probably.
It'll be a real tough one for him, I think. Big Mike also has the Niners. Next game, Broncos 6-2 at the Texans 3-4. The Texans are 1.5-point favorites. Chad, who you got? KJ's taking the Broncos.
That's very curious.
Yeah.
What does Guido know that we don't know?
I don't know.
D'Amico Ryans is a hell of a defensive mind, and Bo Nix is known to play Kenny Rogers in The Gambler, except he don't know when to hold them and he don't know when to fold them. Give me the Texans.
Ooh.
Chad?
You know what? Brett? I'm going to go with the Broncos. I was going to go with you, and then I remembered your 4-5 week last week.
Big Mike took the Texans. I am going with the Broncos. Next game. Man, we got a lot of games. Colts 7-1, 3-point favorites at the Steelers 4-3. I am taking the Colts. I love Indiana Jones. Roll Colts. Ed also has the Colts, and KJ also has the Colts. Brett?
I'm gonna ride with the Colts until they buck me. And again, you know I'm a defensive guy. We've talked about it. Pittsburgh's defense, it just looks like trash, right?
Yep, I would agree. Chad?
Give me Indiana Jones and the Temple of the Last Crusade.
Temple of Doom.
Skull. Yeah, I'm going to mix them all together.
Big Mike's taking the Colts, so makes it a clean sweep. Big game. Chiefs 5-3, 2.5-point favorites at the Bills 5-2. The afternoon game on Sunday. Ed has the Chiefs. Ed has the Chiefs. KJ has the Bills. What say you, Chad?
Give me the Bills.
Brett?
Because it's not the playoffs, give me the Bills.
I went back and forth on this game, and I hate siding with Ed, but I'm going to go with the Chiefs. We'll see how my power rankings are right or wrong. Big Mike went with the Bills. Let's see. Next game. Seahawks 5-2, 3.5-point favorites at the Commanders 3-5. The Sunday night game. Ed took the Seahawks. I am rolling with the Seahawks. KJ is rolling with the Seahawks. Chad?
Is Jaden back?
I think so. I believe
Well, I think it's still undecided, isn't
it's
it?
undecided, but it sounds like he will be back.
Right.
All right, give me the Redskins.
Big Mike took the Seahawks. Chad takes the Red Commanders. Brett?
This one's a tough one.
They're all tough, but
I mean, West Coast all the way to the East Coast, and then it's prime time, like Sunday, Monday night, and what Daddy always saying, home team dog, home team dog.
Sam Darnold on a primetime game.
Oh yeah, give me the Redskins.
all right. Last game. I'm almost embarrassed to put this one up here. The Cardinals 2-5 at the Cowboys 3-4-1.
Poor Marty.
Cowboys are a 2.5-point favorite.
I'm glad Marty's done fell asleep.
I'm taking the Cowboys. Ed's taking the Cowboys. KJ's got the Cowboys. Now, if this game was in Arizona, I think I would go the other way. But since it's in Dallas, Dak turns into an MVP in front of the home crowd, and here you go.
Give me the broke back Cowboys.
Big Mike's got the Cowboys. Brett, you going to go on an island here?
And like steal something from Eric, it's a must win for the Cowboys. How about them Cowboys?
And these aren't my Cardinals of last year.
No, they're not.
They're definitely not. They have all sorts of problems.
Although the Fighting Hobbit is supposed to be back, I've got him in one of my fantasy teams, and I'm taking him because Dallas couldn't stop us three if we were running an offense.
Now, rumor has it that Dallas is making a huge push for Myles Garrett. And I'm thinking to myself, if they couldn't keep Micah Parsons because of huge money, how are they going to go after Myles Garrett?
An older player.
And, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, but Miles is he's excuse me, he's grown ass man.
Nobody plays harder for a worse team than Myles Garrett.
No, and you know
that video of him sitting all the way on one end of the bench
Yeah.
at the end of the game, and the entire team, nobody around him. I was just
yeah,
like,
that was exactly what I was fixing to bring up. That just says so many things for that. That dude's played his ass off.
You know what it says to young players? When your manager tells you need to sign this deal because they're going to give you so much money, guess what?
Well-
Somebody else is going to give you a shit ton of money. Go play someplace else.
And win.
Because, you know, when you're younger and you have all that time, you know, your rookie contract gets you to about 26, 27 years old. And you think, they're going to throw how much money at me? I got time. And then pretty soon the clock starts ticking.
And shame on Cleveland for big boying him and trying to bully him into staying when they should say, look, Miles, you know, we'll give you this money. But, bro, we probably, you know, save some money. We'll get a draft pick or two out of you. Good luck, man.
Yeah.
Go try to win you a ring.
Go try to win a ring
So
somewhere.
that dude has done enough for that crappy franchise. They should have let the man walk. Yeah, and he should have walked. I hate it for him.
Yeah, he should have. But again, with big contracts like that, I'm not going to feel sorry for him with all that money to sit there
Right.
and cry with and, you know, wipe away the tears. So,
But him at the end of that bench, that said a lot.
right.
The pressure from the agents, the pressure from the union, because the union wants you to take the biggest deal you can possibly get.
Yeah.
But the union will get all mad at you if you don't take the biggest possible deal. I mean, the union was not happy with me and my old brain. Anyway, quarterback, and he took $500 million, but it wasn't that much a year. So the union was pissed.
Yeah.
They were trying to raise the salaries for everybody, and they don't care what your circumstances are.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and a guy like Myles Garrett position, you got to decide. And I know the union plays a role in it, but do I want money or do I want to win?
Do I want to win and want money?
Yeah.
It's not going to be as
He would have got a comfortable deal with a lot better team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Going to be happier.
And be happier, not sitting on the bench by himself. So, well, guys, I think that does it. I mean, I guess. Oh, there is some of I can flash these up here real quick. Wentz out for the season, shoulder surgery. They did him dirty, man. They let him get beat up, put him out there. I mean, he was clearly hurting, but he's done. There's rumors, all sorts of rumors floating around out there of guys that Minnesota could sign. But it sounds like Brosmer is going to be the backup in Minnesota. Tyler Lockett is signing with the Raiders. Good luck. They're going to need more than Tyler Lockett. The Bears picked up C.J. Gardner-Johnson, be his third team this year. I don't know what it's going to do. We just seem to be so hurt on the back end. I'm not sure it's going to matter. And we talked about Tyler Shug starting for the Saints this week. So outside of that, and just a reminder to everybody, the King is in the lead, Brett. The King is in the lead. Letting you know. Outside of that, I think that's everything for this week. We appreciate everybody. Give us a like. Put it on the bottom there. YouTube, Facebook, and X. We appreciate doing the show every week. Hope you appreciate listening. I don't know if we make any sense. We try anyway, right?
Kinda.
Some days. Yeah, But with that being said, we will see you next Wednesday, like we are every Wednesday, right here. Take care.
And that's the